Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SIG Windows meeting. Thank you all for attending. So we are over a week removed from KubeCon, and it looks like our team has kind of picked up some of the efforts around both bug fixing, verifying some bugs, especially some of the ones that are coming from Adelina and the testing effort that we have. Overall, I think that we're starting to make good progress on those fronts, and we'll give the floor here for various folks that are contributing to give us some of their individual updates. Patrick, you want to get started? I left you last time, so if you don't mind, you can go first here today.
Okay. Yeah. So last week, while MS Build was going on, I was over at Red Hat Summit. But I'll give a quick recap of a couple things there. So at Red Hat Summit, I was focused on presenting a demo where the folks at Red Hat had basically brought up OpenShift Origin on top of the upstream, on top of the Kubernetes 1.9 bits that we had there. So it was kind of a proof of concept, and they're planning on doing some more development on top of that. But went pretty well, and I was encouraging that the people I talked to afterwards just to check out SIG Windows so they could track more of the development and hopefully help us find and fix more bugs. So that went well. At related MS Build, Windows Server 1803 and Windows 10 version 1803 were both released last week. And if you've got an Azure account, 1803 is up there now as well if you want to use it for testing. So you can deploy that, with the normal Azure VM commands. And then we have updated images on Docker Hub as well. The one thing that's important is if you have anybody that's been working on workloads that don't work on Server Core, we actually announced a third image from Microsoft that's just called Windows, but it's pretty much identical to like the Windows 10 client image. So if you've got applications that want to do like off-screen rendering and things like that may need components like Internet Explorer, it should be possible to run those on that image. It is bigger, but I know for some people that are converting workloads that needed things that weren't in Server Core, it's going to be an option for them. And so that's kind of the news, some of the new stuff that's relevant there. And otherwise, I'm just trying to catch up on bugs and things like that. I know that Peng Fei over in the Microsoft China office is still hard at work on getting the metrics needed for auto scaling. I don't have a PR number yet on that, but he's still working on it. I know that's kind of the top blocking issue when it comes to the performance testing and auto scaling. So I think that's pretty much everything I had.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, definitely the auto scaling and the work that his team is doing is super critical to. It was one of the things that couldn't really verify before and get it out there. So it's it'd be great to actually see that come alive.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about 1803 is we also changed the way symlinks work, and so it should fix some of the compatibility problems we've had. So I'm hoping. So I was going to try to get a cluster up, and Adelina was trying to get a cluster up as well. So hopefully we'll have some good news to report there on symlinks later this week or before next week.
Okay, excellent. Adelina, you want to go next?
Yeah. So basically, I pushed out the PR related to kubetest and Pro, so they're all that we need is there. So basically, they just need reviews And that's about it. So normal PR babysitting. I did make a Prow cluster on my own on a Kubernetes cluster that I have on Azure. And I wanted to give it to you guys to to test. Sadly, Prow jobs are horrendously expensive, and basically I can not run more than 3 at a time because they're building Kubernetes, and I need to scale that to more nodes. But the point is that I wanted to show you how the jobs will look, and how the tests are run and stuff like that. And if you want to tinker with it yourselves. But I need to scale the nodes before I can do that. Now, on other issues, Claudio hit, I don't know if it's here, Claudio hit an issue with the fact that when you call Docker exec and try to basically call a bat file, a script, it will not work unless you explicitly put the extension. Now I don't. Claudio didn't manage to figure out why that's happening and why is it only specific to this, because the next, for example, you can call it like with or without the extension, is no problem. But the bat files don't seem to work that way. So that's an issue we encountered, and it's blocking some tests. We're thinking of putting a wrapper around the bits that need to be called, so it's transparent to the test itself. So the wrapper will be in the image. What else? I saw that some tests that were failing with regards to metrics are now passing. I didn't get a chance to investigate fully on that, but apparently there are some fixes in progress in that, so that's good for our testing. Something else?
I will probably look a little bit more into that, because I don't think we
Yeah.
made any fixes on metrics. So it might be a little bit suspect why it still works while it's working now when it was not working before.
Exactly. The thing that changed is the Kubernetes version. So the last tests were on 1.9. This is 1.10. But of course, I need to investigate it further, because I didn't expect it. I just ran it just like that, and so the tests that were failing are passing now. Okay. As Patrick said, with the 1803, we need to double check to go back to the symlinks and to the symlink issues and DNS and see if they changed in any way for our tests. And that's about it here. Now that the Prow and Cube tests are out of the way, meaning that there's not much to do except babysit the patches, I'm going to start going over the list of tests and sending out PRs related to tagging them or whatever we have to select them for Windows.
Okay.
Okay, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you, thank you, Adelina. Bob, do you want to go next on some of the updates with some of the Vagrant scripts you're working on, and now I don't know if we're ready to publicize everything for everybody already.
Yeah, I did a little bit of work on that the past week. Things do seem to be working. The README itself needs to be updated with the changes. So while it should work, the documentation is still a little behind. I know that Alex at Apendo has been working on that and testing various features and things like that using the OVN and OVS setup. And I guess that's about it. I mean, once the documentation's up, I can post it in the channel now just if people want to try it. I can post it again once the docs are updated.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Aline, any update from you on your end?
Yeah, so I sent last week some update for the documentation, which has the how to create Windows services from Kubernetes and kubeproxy. Then I updated the Ansible playbooks into the official documentation for OV and OVS, and thanks to the guys that tried the Ansible playbooks, I did another update to the Ansible playbooks to make them work better and to make the deployment much more easier.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's definitely helping, and we're hearing good things from Bob and his team that are trying some of those things out. So that's excellent. All right. I think those are the active work that I'm aware of. Is there anybody that has any more questions or concerns or anything they want to talk about?
Actually, I had a quick question on the Ansible playbooks. So one of the issues that we ran into was that in order to use OVS and OVN in cloud providers, we had to drop the MTU down. Do those playbooks already, I guess broader question is, have those playbooks already been tested on like Azure and GCE or AWS?
Yep, I tested them on all three. Actually, at the moment, I'm trying to help someone to deploy them on AWS, which seems to have some kind of issues, which I hope to fix soon.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll take a closer look at those. Thanks.
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So regarding the MTU, we need to update the CNF version. It's a config option. And for cloud providers,
We cannot hear you, Aline.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So regarding the MTU, we need to update the CNI on Windows, basically to drop down the MTU based on the configuration. This would be at the creation of the cluster. And another thing that we should also mention over there is the different tunnel types, because OVS and OVN itself can work either on Geneve or STT. And in cloud provider, it may be useful just to use STT because it's piggybacking on a TCP frame. And it will basically just improve your performance, network performance, because you don't need offloading for STT.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right, short meeting today. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day. Thank you all for the updates, and we'll see you guys in a week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.